What if I told you that one of the world's most prestigious luxury brands was built, not by a tycoon, but by a malnourished child who once slept on floors, dodged debt collectors, and had nothing to his name but a wrench and raw ambition? What if I told you that Rolls-Royce, the brand that now builds engines for jet planes and handcrafts cars that sell for $500,000, was born from a boy who had no shoes, no home, and no real chance? This isn't just a rags to riches story. It's a story of obsession, betrayal, corporate warfare, and how a quiet, sickly child from London slums became the beating heart of the most respected automotive dynasty in the world. And here's the twist: he almost didn't make it. Before we get into the full story, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We uncover the wildest business stories, darkest downfalls, fascinating money stories, and the most inspiring comebacks in business history. Now let's dive in. The year was 1877. The place, Huntingdonshire, England. A 5-year-old boy named Frederick Henry Royce had just lost everything. His father had died, leaving the family drowning in debt. Their mill business had collapsed, and young Henry, barefoot, hungry, and silent, was sent out into the streets to sell newspapers and collect bottles just to keep his family from starving. He was the youngest of 5 children, but hardship didn't care about age. By the age of 9, he was working full-time. No school, no comfort, just labor. The child who would one day engineer perfection had no formal education past elementary level. Instead, his teachers were cold factory floors, candlelit workshops, and the unrelenting taste of failure. But in that chaos, something else was forming. A mind, a machine, a man who wouldn't accept mediocrity. At age 14, he finally caught a break. Henry managed to land an apprenticeship at the Great Northern Railway. But even that opportunity came at a brutal cost. His aunt had to pay for it using her life savings. Yet fate wasn't done tormenting him. Just 2 years in, the family ran out of money. The apprenticeship was cut short, and Henry once again was jobless and broke. But this time, he didn't beg. He hustled. He worked in the evenings. He picked up odd jobs. He taught himself electrical engineering from books he could barely afford. And then, finally, he joined the Electric Light and Power Company in London. There, everything changed. Royce quickly developed a reputation. Quiet, diligent, brilliant. He didn't just fix machines, he improved them. He didn't just follow instructions, he questioned them. He was building a future he couldn't even see yet, piece by painful piece. By 1884, with 20 pounds borrowed from a friend and an empty pocket, 21-year-old Henry Royce launched his own company, F.H. Royce and Company. They made electric doorbells, dynamos, and light fittings. Not sexy, but profitable. Until it wasn't. The business struggled. Bad debts, faulty machinery, low margins. Royce pushed through, obsessed with perfection. He didn't sleep. He barely ate. He worked himself to the edge of physical collapse. And then, in 1903, he made a decision that would change everything. He bought a used de Cauville, a French-made car, and hated it. It was noisy, inefficient, poorly built. So he tore it apart, not because he wanted to fix it, but because he believed he could build a better one from scratch. By 1904, Henry Royce had built his first car, the Royce 10. It was quiet, smooth, reliable, a mechanical masterpiece. And it caught the attention of a man who was everything Royce wasn't. Charles Rolls. A rich aristocrat, a showman, an adventurer. He raced cars, sold luxury automobiles, and had the money and connections Henry never would. When Rolls saw Royce's car, he immediately said, "I want all future cars you make to be badged as Rolls-Royce." And just like that, a brand was born. Rolls-Royce Limited was officially founded in 1906. But while the name was shared, the vision was not. And the clash would come. In 1910, just 4 years into the partnership, Charles Rolls died in a tragic airplane crash. Suddenly, the company's face was gone, and Henry Royce, the silent genius in the shadows, was left to carry the brand. What did he do? He retreated deeper into perfectionism. He personally designed nearly every detail of the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost, now considered one of the most reliable cars ever made. One test vehicle reportedly drove over 14,000 miles without breakdown, a staggering feat for the time. By 1914, as World War I began, Rolls-Royce pivoted. They built airplane engines, including the famous Eagle engine used in the first ever transatlantic flight. Royce was behind it all, but the cost of brilliance was steep. By 1912, Royce's health had collapsed. Doctors said he had less than a year to live, but Royce refused to die. Instead, he engineered from his bed. Assistants brought blueprints to his bedside. Machines were tested under his supervision while he lay dying. He kept working and working for 20 more years. After World War I, Rolls-Royce was more than a car company. It was a symbol of engineering excellence. In the 1920s, the Phantom 1 and 2 models set new standards for automotive luxury. In the 1930s, they developed the Merlin engine, which powered the British Spitfire and Hurricane planes during World War II. That engine was instrumental in turning the tide of war. By now, Rolls-Royce wasn't just a car maker. It was a national treasure. But behind the prestige was a hidden cost. Royce had become so obsessed with details that he'd revised designs hundreds of times before approving them. He distrusted nearly everyone. He pushed his staff to exhaustion, and he never once allowed himself the luxury of ease. Because in his mind, perfection wasn't a goal. It was a duty. In 1933, Henry Royce died at the age of 70. He had no children, no empire of heirs, just notebooks full of designs, mechanical dreams, and a company now woven into the fabric of British identity. He died quietly, as he had lived, but his legacy? Deafening. By the time of his death, Rolls-Royce had become the gold standard for not only automobiles, but aircraft and engineering. The boy who once slept on factory floors had built a brand that would live for centuries. After Royce's death, the company continued to grow, dominating aviation with engines that powered the British Air Force. But in 1971, disaster struck. A series of financial missteps and cost overruns on a new jet engine design led to bankruptcy. Yes, Rolls-Royce actually went bankrupt. The British government stepped in, nationalizing the company to save it. Later, the automotive division was separated from the aerospace one. In 1998, after a wild corporate tug-of-war, BMW bought the rights to the Rolls-Royce car name, while Volkswagen got the Bentley brand. A single name, divided. But one thing never changed: the legend of a child who started with nothing. So, what can we learn from the bankrupt child who created Rolls-Royce? 1. Start small. Think big. Royce didn't have wealth. He didn't have a network. But he had obsession and standards. He believed in the work when no one else did. 2. Mastery wins. In a world obsessed with speed and scale, Royce chose precision. He became a master, and masters always find a way to rise. 3. Build to last. Royce didn't chase trends. He built machines to last 100 years. And today, his brand still commands global respect. 4. You don't need to be loud. Charles Rolls was the face. Henry Royce was the soul. You don't need to be flashy to win. Sometimes, quiet obsession beats loud ambition. 5. Survive first. Then, dominate. Before Rolls-Royce became a luxury titan, it was a broken boy's survival project. Your worst days might be the raw materials for your biggest legacy. From barefoot newspaper boy to the creator of an empire that outlived kings and countries, Henry Royce didn't just build engines. He built a legacy out of nothing but struggle. If that doesn't prove that greatness can come from anywhere, what does? If you found this story inspiring, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. We bring you more unbelievable business stories like this every week. Real people, real drama, real billion-dollar lessons. And here's a question for you. What do you think matters more in business, innovation or perfection? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. Until next time, keep building.